Hello, good people. So I am back once again and following my last video where I talked about some of the complications that I suffered following surgery for endometriosis. I have come back to talk to you or share my story um, and talk about the second major complication that I suffered post surgery. But before I do that, it's really nice, by the way, when I get compliments and feedback and positive comments about the videos that I do. Um, there's nothing that gives me more joy than when somebody says, "Oh, I shared your video with so and so and they found it really, really helpful." Or somebody gets in touch and says, they just wanted to bounce ideas, get advice about how I dealt with, whatever the issue was regarding the condition. Because that's the whole point. That was why I started this channel and started this platform to engage, to share, to connect, to inform, and to empower. And we're all in this together. But what also became quite clear to me was the uplifting element to all of this. Just letting someone know that no matter how long and dark that tunnel may look, there is a light at the end of it, no matter how small, it is there. And just know that you have what it takes inside of you to fight and to come back on top, because that's what I did. And I am living proof of that. And so it just got me thinking a little bit deeper. And I thought to myself that it would be really nice actually to start each video with a word of encouragement, at least each video I do during this period of COVID-19, and I'm sure people could always do with an uplifting word and something that's just going to encourage and remind us that there is life beyond all of this. I hope you know that. This isn't it. Actually, this is when you knuckle down and get stronger and get better and, better health, better wealth, better finances. I mean, I can go on. So to that end, I thought I just got thinking over the last few days, few weeks, and something that just kept recurring to me was the need to just be still sometimes. And I know that I spend a lot of the time, running around feeling like a bit of a headless chicken and sometimes, castigating myself and not feeling like I've accomplished as much as I would have liked at the end of the day. And feeling I could have been a lot more productive as opposed to just being active, if you know what I mean. And it occurred to me that it's those moments when I just take some time out to go and do the washing up, just stand by the sink and just mindlessly, be washing, putting the dishes away, or just go to the bathroom where I'm not actively engaged in, typing or on the phone or doing Zoom calls like we do these days. And it's in those short moments, but ever so precious, that I find I get moments of utter clarity. So that's when solutions come to me. That's when I usually get answers to a whole host of things that may have been playing on my mind. So I'll often find that something I've been wrestling with, maybe for the best part of that day or the week, however long, and just not being able to find, a way out of my thoughts and how I'm going to resolve whatever the issue is, that I'll just, all of a sudden, just find the answer. And so I just said all that to say, it's good to take time out every now and then to just breathe, just be quiet, and just be still. I know it's not easy, especially at this time as well, with all the nonsense going on with coronavirus. And of course, the news is full of nothing but, gloom and doom, let's face it. And we're all hearing about the deaths, and we don't know how long the lockdown's going to last, really. It's just relentless. So I think that has done something to the passage of time. I find that time seems to be whizzing by a lot quicker. and we feel that we need to just get it all done. It's rather ironic because you'd think that with most of us being at home now, we would have a lot more time to fit work in, to do, personal stuff and just have it all nicely compartmentalized and, be a lot more organized and, yeah, just have time to do it. But I am finding that it's on the contrary. I'm finding that the hours, the days, the weeks are just whizzing past at a ridiculous rate. So, while all that craziness is going on, all I'm trying to say is we just need to take time out of that craziness, time out of the noise where you just retreat and just hear yourself think. Just breathe and just try to, I think, get in touch with that rhythm of your breathing, the in and the out, the in and the out. And that, my friends, if you manage to master just that in, out, that is the first step to meditating, I will have you know. And actually a rather big step to conquering this myth that surrounds meditation. Because a lot of people often say, oh, it's so hard, my mind is always racing and, my breathing is all over the place. Well, where do you start? You start at the beginning. And the beginning is usually with the in and the out, the breathing. And then, of course, it goes to the thoughts, which you can calm and, regulate. It's all in your hands. Your thoughts do not control you. You control your thoughts. And without descending into a meditation class, which this can be for a fee, all I will say is you can control your thoughts. So you hold them captive. So you're trying to meditate, you've mastered the breathing, you're on top of it, so you're fully aware of each breath going in and each breath going out, and just stay with that. Make sure you're just constantly in the moment with the breathing. With the thoughts, as they come, you just let them go. So the thought comes, oh, you didn't call your Uncle Bob. Well, it's now 9 o'clock. Uncle Bob likes to go to sleep at 6, so it's not going to happen today. Off you go. Another one comes along. Oh, you didn't buy any milk today, did you? Well, again, it's 9 o'clock. The shops are all closed. We can't do anything about the milk. And you let it go. Simple. It really is that simple. And if you just do that, and in fact, just the rhythm of just literally watching the thoughts float by and try to distract you, thinking that they can, disturb your equilibrium and interfere, you just look at it with a wry smile, acknowledge, and let it go. By the time you do that a few times, 10, 20, 50 if you have to, just getting into that rhythm alone is actually quite soporific in a way, and it will just get you to that state where you're just on an even keel now. And don't forget your breathing is also just doing its thing. Up, down, in, out, yeah? And that's you meditating. You can thank me later. And yes, I suppose the main reason, I guess, or one of the reasons why I wanted to start this platform of talking and sharing and trying to encourage people not to keep things in is because ultimately your health is key. And it starts with you. It starts with here. It starts with, being mindful about the things you're listening to, the things you are seeing, what you watch on television, what you are inhaling, what you are eating, how you're breathing, how you're being generally, because your health is your wealth. And yeah, ultimately, if you can get on top of that, there are a lot of things that are within your control, are within your ambit to at least improve. And if there's ever a good time to do that, good people, now is the time, right? So look inside you, find that time and do it. You owe it to yourself. You're all heroes. You can do it. Which reminds me. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Okay, I don't quite know what happened there. Mariah Carey entered the room. She has actually got to worry about her career, because I can take her all the way to Simon Cowell and back. In my dreams, of course. I do not profess to be a songstress, but I do like that song. And I was talking about, tapping into your inner hero, and it just felt rather timely to give you a bit of a rendition, a semi-rendition. Anyway, back to the topic in hand. So, I was going to talk about complication number 2. That was the bane of my life for quite some time. So that was facing surgery for my endometriosis. Hopefully most of you would have seen my previous videos where I go into a little bit more detail. But just by way of a quick recap, I had keyhole surgery, and the doctors were hoping that through the laparoscopy is so effectively they use a laparoscope, which is a long implement, maybe about this long. It's got a camera attached to the end of it. And they can make a very, very tiny incision, pretty small holes actually, maybe the size of a button, small button, maybe the size of that. Can you see my ring? This is my dad's ring, by the way, which I wear all the time. So roughly that size, maybe even smaller. And it will go in and they look around. The camera will show them what's inside, my tummy in other words, and they can see it on the big screen. And the intention was for them to get rid of the endometriosis through laparoscopic surgery. But it turned out, when they got in there, when they could see what was actually happening, that the endometriosis had spread, it had gone everywhere, and it was just virtually impossible for them to do anything. Rather unfortunately. So that meant that they just had to close me up and schedule another date to do major surgery, which is a laparotomy. And that is an incision that they would normally make across your abdomen, like a bikini line, that sort of width. And in my case, I remember the surgeon saying to me that it was unlikely they'll be able to do a bikini line because of the way the endometriosis had spread. So 2 things. 1, endometriosis, not to sound too dramatic, is a bit like cancer. So it spreads, mimics the way tumours would grow and form inside your body. And in my case, those tumours, which thankfully are benign, grew in the form of cysts and tissue and adhesions and all sorts. And it was mainly on my bowels, on my ovaries, other bits and pieces. And it was so bad across the bowels that they had to, they couldn't do a bikini line going horizontally. She told me that she was going to have to cut me vertically. So in other words, going down from my belly button downwards. That didn't go down well with me at all. Because it just caused a whole lot of other problems that I was trying to avoid. But so that was issue number 1.